not only top star doctor, she's a singer, dancer, she's an artist, she's in show business, you're an innovator, designer. I mean, what else? You're an incredible mom. You treat your husband so. How are you, Tess? Nice
I try. I think for us, it's more like I wanna do this interview, but I'd rather go dancing with Ariel and Cynthia, and I want to hear you guys sing. Those of you who don't know have not had the pleasure of hearing Cynthia and Ariel sing or like dance on the dance floor. Like, oh my God, it's like amazing. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to see you. I know that you've been so busy. We've both been so busy until we're locked up at home. So now we have a chance to see each other. I think this is one of the best things that's come out of COVID, is that we really are able to now have time to connect with old friends and colleagues and share ideas and just empower each other and boost each other up.
Yeah, you know what? How life has changed dramatically in the past month and a half. I saw you on Facebook. I was doing a quick Facebook Live, and you were there, and it was like, oh, what a pleasant surprise. But I imagine you're busier than ever. Your hospital is closed right now, right?
Yeah, so M Beauty Clinic, we have 2 offices in San Diego, and then we have a Beverly Hills office. We've been closed since March 20, and there's no signs and indication when we're really going to be able to reopen. Beverly Hills, 2 nights ago, the city voted to no longer prohibit elective cosmetic surgery, but they are saying that they highly recommend the suspension of it. So that's kind of where it is. Many of my colleagues who are plastic surgeons in Beverly Hills, including my partner there, Dr. Tim Nevin, are going to see patients, I believe, starting tomorrow.
Wow.
And then we'll just have to see what happens. I'm not planning on seeing patients yet. Today I moderated a key opinion leader roundtable about the specifics, the practical parts about reopening our practices. It's going to look different. It's going to be completely different. And so, I was joined by 4 of my colleagues, different doctors from different fields, from different places in the United States, to give their perspective. And it's very eye-opening. It's going to be complicated. It's going to be hard, and there is no consensus.
So what type of peace of mind are you going to give your patients? I mean, do you kind of have an idea of how you're going to, I don't know, take the necessary precautions to avoid transmission?
Oh, absolutely. Safety is always my number 1 concern. And that's the reason we're early in closing, and we're not, opening yet in Beverly Hills, even though technically, if I wanted to, I can make that decision. So absolutely, I've already been having Zoom meetings with my team, even last week, trying to prepare whether it's like thinking about what PPEs we'll need, acquisition of PPE, the flow, preparing patients actually before they get into the office, educating, communicating with your staff, your patients about these new, more complicated protocols. We're planning on definitely, making sure that none of our patients interact with any other patient. So it's going to be almost like a super VIP treatment. Every single patient will be in close contact with our staff. No one's going to see anyone else. There's going to be obviously protection from our point of view. We're going to have the providers who are going to be treating will have an N95 mask, a shield, eye protection. Clothes that we're going to be wearing will not be the clothes that we're wearing outside. We're going to take the clothes off and then put it in a wash. Same thing with the staff. We're going to get detailed history from the patients before they come in, whether they've had, exposure, if they have fever, any symptoms. We're going to take temperatures of everybody before they come in. I'm going to be planning on doing antibody testing for my staff. We are going to do cleaning throughout the day and after. And so, you know, removing anything in the office that could act as a fomite. No more sampling products, makeup, no more coffee machine, magazines, all of that. Trying to move everything digitally. So I now do telemedicine, Ariel, and so I imagine that my consults and non-complicated follow-ups will all be done, digitally to minimize the number of patients that we have to deal with in the clinic. So, and we'll have a written protocol that our staff will be, trained in. They're going to sign it. There's consent form release for the patients, the staff. So there's just so much. There's a legal stuff and stuff. It's a lot, and I'll share with you that video, and you can share it with your group as well. The webinar. It's very eye-opening.
That's wonderful. Well, that's one of the things that we've seen in the past month and a half or so, that everything suddenly changed to online conferencing, cloud-based conferencing, and not only just the education part, but actually the consultation. And I kind of see that there's something positive out of this, because all the red tape that used to be there and all the regulations suddenly disappeared, because, well, you want the timeliness of care, the quality of care. You want to be able to be available for the patients, and there's no other option right now.
Yes, and I mean, you're a surgeon, a real surgeon. And so I don't know, I mean, you have, bigger issues to really deal with. And because there's potential more complications than what I do just with the, with the skin, although I do liposuction. But it's one of those things where really there's no consensus. There's nothing that the CDC or the government officials are handing out to us. So we, as a group of physicians, have to figure out and feel more confident in moving forward, less scared, less anxious with our protocols that, we kind of run by our colleagues, and hopefully they feel the same, and then learn from each other as well, so that there is that confidence, because we have to build that for ourselves, because we're going in. We have to build our staff's confidence, because maybe some of our staff may not be comfortable going back in and exposing themselves. And then, of course, the patients, they have to know that we, as responsible physicians who care about them, are providing an environment where we can do their procedures safely, and at least as much as we can mitigate the risk. We cannot eliminate it, because we have person-to-person contact, and a big number of cases are in asymptomatic patients, asymptomatic people. And so we just mitigate it as much as we can, and then protect ourselves legally, because we live in California and the United States.
Yeah, well, your patients love you. That's the most important thing. And now you're protecting them, and you're not just, let's say, just coming up with these ideas by yourself. Like you were saying, this webinar you just had, you've got like top researchers, top scientists looking at all these possibilities. So do we. I mean, we've been going webinar after webinar, and as this epidemic, now pandemic, keeps on growing, we keep on learning of what the new normal is going to look like. So what do? We just make the best out of it, but always put the patient in first place.
Absolutely. And things are changing, because many people who weren't into telemedicine and don't have a means to do that, they suddenly were like, oh my God, how are we going to keep in contact with the patients? I was lucky, because I was already in the process of starting telemedicine. Also, we already have an e-commerce site, in shopdrtess.com. So our patients are able to access our products, our nutritional supplements, and do something for themselves. Because right now, and my colleagues who have e-commerce sites, they're like, yeah, patients, aesthetic patients want their skincare products. They want a regimen. They want to still be doing something good for themselves, maintaining their skin, improving their skin while they're stuck at home before they can get to us for the, bigger procedures.
So what is it you're recommending right now? Because everybody really is stuck at home, and a lot of people are getting depressed. So what do?
Uh,
They overeat, they overdrink, and not moving a lot, not exercising. What are you telling all your patients? How do you keep them nice and fit? And
it's horrible. The COVID-19 is real. And I think, at the beginning, right, we're all trying to soothe ourselves. All your comfort foods and all your comfort shows and all the things that are really bad for us, especially now, because now more than ever, we need our bodies to be as healthy as possible. Because as you know, I don't have to tell you that the risks, for complications and death from COVID goes up with, you know, diabetes, hypertension, the metabolic, diseases, and so I just try to encourage my patients by constantly communicating with them. Many of my patients watch me on social media, and I think staying in touch and connected is very important. I am a big believer in the connection between a mental and psychological state and beautiful skin, and also nutrition and beautiful skin. And so I tell my patients, okay, make sure you're managing your mental health, your stress levels, whether that's meditating, doing yoga, talking to your friends, watching a funny movie, taking care of sleep. Sleep is important. Sleep's been linked to weight gain, diabetes, and all this, lack of sleep. And so, as you know, James and I created a supplement for brain health and overall health. And I also have a skin supplement. And I tell patients, you need to get your micronutrients, vitamins, and minerals without consuming too many calories. And so that's kind of what we tell them, stay healthy from the inside and move. Try to move. James and I try to go walking. I do my, my vitality stick workout on my own. I do yoga. We have the ball in the middle of our living room now. So while we're watching, I'm on exercise ball. But it's challenging because we are like over 1 month now stuck at home. And I do notice that there are less people walking and biking than maybe a couple of weeks ago. So I think the depression and the quarantine fatigue is setting in. And that's why I'm like, we really have to balance out locking people up and making them really unhealthy physically and psychologically, so that's tough.
yeah, well, I'm seeing the same thing, and I mean, that basically my thing is preventing excess weight, obesity, metabolic disease, and no time more than right now have I seen an increase in metabolic disease just all across the board, because the conditions that are being given are what you just said: quarantine fatigue. What do? You get depressed. You self-soothe. You start eating. The selections that were offered right now in most grocery stores are limited. You're not gonna most everybody really isn't naturally taking the best decisions on what they eat, how much they drink, how much they're exercising. I'm also seeing the same thing. I mean, I'm down here in Coronado, and well, the beaches opened a couple of days ago, and now they're closed back again. So people are getting really desperate now.
No, absolutely. And that balance is hard to really find, because we know that, mental health is linked to a lot of things that you talked about. And so being out, being in the beach, it really does boost you. In addition, you get a little sun, you get vitamin D, which is linked to, I mean, it's so good for us. But then how do you social distance when everybody, thousands of people are rushing there? And so, yeah, and it's going to be fluctuating. I think it's the same when we reopen our clinics. I'm prepared that they're probably going to allow us to practice, and then there will be a chance where it's just like the beaches. Oh no, forget it. I think we're gonna close it all down and not let you guys do your work. And it's frustrating. I speak to a lot of doctors who say doctors know how to do things in a sterile way. We've been trained, we think that way, we know how to protect ourselves, our staff, and our patients much better than, say, your grocery store worker, liquor store worker, where they're out there, they're interacting. And so why don't we allow doctors to practice, because we would know how to mitigate the risk the best way possible. So how do you feel about that?
I think for us, it's going to be the new normal, and people are going to catch on. Obviously, this whole pandemic is going to create the mass hysteria. It already did. All these worries and questions that are arising in the general public. But sooner or later, people are going to understand that you might get it, you might not. If you don't, you're going to be uh, at risk of getting it in the near future, maybe a year and a half, until we have a vaccine or we have a treatment, or at least an antibody, which all three apparently are. Some news is there that there may be a glimmer of hope that there's a treatment, that antiviral that is working now. There's the antibodies that are being developed here in California. Oxford University, which I have a relationship with, International Bariatric Club, just announced that they will be releasing the first batches of their vaccine, I think around June. So some of that is going to give that peace of mind. And what you just asked, I truly believe that patients know that we have their best interests at heart, and they know that, well, we really do things from a sterility or disinfection standpoint. We're very careful with these things. So I think patients are going to understand that and travel or visit our centers with not too much hesitation.
Yeah, I mean, but definitely the glimmer of hope, although we are, the Fed said that we are now in the worst economic status ever in history, is that people have been emailing me, emailing the clinic, uh, calling, asking when they can come in, have their treatments. We already have patients like, oh, I want to book something in June because I know there's going to be a rush of people wanting Dr. Tess's services. And so I think that, the unknown is that how many people are going to be willing to do that, how confident are they going to be. But I definitely think that doctors who, like you, have built a real relationship with patients, and our patients know we care about them, I think will be less likely to end up in bad situations.
Well, I'm booked solid until August. So I
See?
had to, I had to move my patients from May to June, now from June to July, but I've got July, August, September, and booking in October. And as more days pass by in this quarantine, I think I'm going to get even more patients wanting to book, because they're desperate. They want to lose
They need it.
accumulated pounds. Yeah, and the risk, as we were saying, the risk of having metabolic disease and developing a severe case of COVID is very real. So I think patients are also understanding that. But anyways, going back to you, you're always innovating. You, I mean, you're incredible. You're in 10 places at the same time. You're a true multitasker. What's up with your life recently? What have you been doing?
Okay, so just during quarantine, I started an Instagram live show called Tea with Dr. Tess. That's why it's still here, you know, my tea set. So this is on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 2 p.m. And it's just a way to, like I said, connect, educate, distract, entertain people. We have like a weekly giveaway. This is what our giveaway basket was today. James and I started a radio show on AM 1170 and the Answer San Diego called Soul to Skin MD. This is something that we've been doing on Facebook Live for the last 3 years, and we took it to the radio and now a podcast. I'm going to be doing a lot more webinars for our colleagues, and we're working on developing more supplements. We have a probiotic, gut immune product coming out, and also a chewable vitamin C and zinc product coming out, and just talking to people and just helping them get educated. I think as medical doctors, we take for granted as basic stuff what most people really don't know. And even like how viruses are spread, right? That's why my friends who are doctors are so frustrated, because we understand virology, immunology, all of that. But like talking about nutrition, why that's so important, why it's important to eat your fresh fruits and vegetables and all of that. We know because we're trying to extract micronutrients that we need to process and be healthy. So I think, like you, it is our responsibility to try to build awareness and help people in our own way. And with us, James and I, we feel we can only help a certain number of people in the clinic personally, but with the supplement that we create, we can help millions. And that's kind of what our next phase is.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I've been in that development area as well, and
You're always in development area.
what, one of the things that we worked on was a smartphone app, and it's something that when we came into this era of online, let's say, communication, this telepresence thing, we've been doing it for so many years because, as you know,
I know
all our
you
patients
have.
come from far away. So all these
And you lecture all over the world too. You
and
lecture all over the world.
using the same platform. So for us, it wasn't a huge change. It was interesting to see how the rest of the world kind of finally caught up and said, "Oh, this is a viable option." So now it's going to be. I believe that for us that have used it for years, it's going to be the benefit of what's happening right now is that people are going to feel more comfortable and at ease at home using this type of technology, as before it felt kind of awkward. I don't know if you felt that type of relation with your patient.
I think, yes, I think it's because it's necessary now. Many of our colleagues, it's very hard for people to change direction. And it's the same, whether it's technology, telemedicine, starting an e-commerce store, and digitizing. It's very hard, especially after a certain age. I think to learn new technology, but even like we've been talking about nutritional supplementation for years, James and I, and it's now because people are desperate to try to control their own health. People are actually considering and buying supplements and taking them now. So I think the change of behaviors are kind of, because it's desperate times, and desperate times calls for desperate measures. And there's a lot of good things that will come out of this. And I'm sure that you and I will be out there, and I can't wait to try that app.
That's wonderful. So we came out with a 21-day plan because, you know what? After coming out of this quarantine thing, I know everybody I talk to has said, I've gained so much weight. I've done so. One interesting webinar that, because I also started doing webinars 1 o'clock Tuesdays and Thursdays. It's called Stay Home, Stay Healthy. And Ben Bokikio is a physician who developed, this guy is a scientist, he knows all about metabolic medicine, but he designed a workout which is 15 minutes twice a week with spectacular
Really?
results.
Sign me up.
15 minutes twice a week. And he was explaining the science behind it and proving that you actually get better benefits with 15 minutes and then resting your body versus what I see often, people just burning out an hour, 2 hours at the gym every day when you actually can do it a different way. And of course there's technique to it, but all of these things are the stuff we want to bring to our patients and say, you know what, you're staying at home, careful, because it takes literally 2 weeks to become from a healthy individual to somebody that now has metabolic disease. And it
It's
also takes
not
like
fair.
so
That's
I,
what that my mom says. It's like working out. It's like there's no loyalty. You've been so good, and like you said, 2 weeks that you're bad. It's not fair. It's like you can't even recognize yourself in your body. But yes, so interval training. That's kind of what what my personal trainer has been talking about, and not having to like punish yourself so that you end up hating your workout and you're not able to maintain it. And that's what we see with skin, right? Consistency, things that you wouldn't think really make a difference, like using a great skincare regimen, having, good skincare product, just a good cleanser, a serum, moisturizer, sunscreen, day to day, you do that. Take your supplements day to day, you do that. And you look at it in the long term, and it really makes a difference. And it's about consistency. And I think that, and in order to do that, it has to be simple, and it has to be doable and not too painful, because as you know, painful diets, painful workouts, you can get the results, but you're not going to stay with it for life. And we're looking at the long term.
well, I've always admired the way you practice. You're not about the skin, you're about the holistic approach to everything from the mind, the body, the soul, the nutrition aspect, the exercise. So what would the takeaways be for anybody that's listening right now and they have to act upon them like right now urgently before they're released from their quarantine? What should people do?
Well, there is still time. Now is the perfect time to really get yourself trained to have a good skincare regimen. We have incredible products. We have incredible technology in products now. And when people say, find out that I'm going to be 49 in November, we've known each other for many years. I practice what I preach, but find a good skincare regimen. If you are, looking for some, you can go to our website, shopdrtess.com. These are products that I personally use. These are the products that I recommend to my patient. Even if you just pick up a serum, a cleanser, and a sunscreen, you can really do so much within days. And then if we have weeks, it's going to be amazing how your skin's going to look after. The other thing is sleep. Train yourself to sleep better. Sleep is key in so many things: our mental health, our physical health, weight gain, and of course our beauty. That's why sleep, it's the beauty rest, right? And if you're not sleeping well, all of those are affected. So whether it is, turning off your phone, stop watching your TV, and really, even though we're not working, get into a kind of a cycle. Go to sleep the same time and wake up the same time. And then the other thing is, thinking about thinking about your skin in a different way. The skin, like you said, is a reflection of how healthy we are from within. And so taking care of our overall health and well-being, and Ariel already talked about it, moving, working out, your diet, supplementation. These are all important in your overall aging of your skin, your overall longevity, and your overall need for something major reconstructively or rejuvenation wise in the future.
Yeah.
And mental health.
Exactly.
For me, praying and faith and all of that is very important. And like you said, I counsel my patients about stress and stress reduction all the time when they come in to see me, whether it's acne, whether it's aging, hair loss, because stress is a huge factor.
No, I think you hit upon the secret of the fountain of youth, because that's really what it is. I mean, the science backs up what you're saying right now. It's those combinations of things that are going to create this longevity and this quality of life, the wellness, the health that permits you to live long years, being happy, healthy, and fulfilled. So, Tess, where can people find you?
Well, someday, someday M Beauty Clinic will be open, and we have an office in the Miramar area, in Chula Vista, and in Beverly Hills. Go to mbeautyclinic.com. Wealth of information. Obviously, if you want to go beyond, and when we're all released from quarantine, we offer the latest in technology for really natural rejuvenation, regenerative aesthetics, utilizing our own body's ability to heal and repair using our own growth factors from platelet-rich plasma, stem cells from our adipose, head-to-toe treatment. We also have now expanded into hair restoration as well. And so to go to M Beauty Clinic, and then if you're interested in products and supplements, shop drtess.com. I'm on Instagram at Dr. Tess Mauricio and Facebook Tess Mauricio. And then join me on Tea with Dr. Tess Tuesdays and Thursdays on Instagram, and our radio show, The Answer, sandiego.com. You can watch and, listen anywhere in the world.
That's awesome, Tess. You're
You,
everywhere.
you. I'm
You
just
are.
like you. You're my idol. That's
You're,
why.
you're one busy woman.
My kids are happy that I'm busy, because I've never ever been home this long ever. Even after giving birth, C-sections, within 2 weeks, I was back to work. So, my son, who is going to be 14 tomorrow, is happy that I'm talking to you and I'm busy, so he can play his video games there without mommy watching him. So
He must be big. I haven't seen him in a long while. And your
I know,
daughter is in
time
medical
flies.
school.
No, she's not yet. She's a junior, finishing her junior year at Stanford and applying to medical
Oh,
school in the
wow.
summer. So we'll see what happens with that. But it's changed a lot for our kids too. And, we just have to be creative and flexible. And I think that's key to life, and especially now.
Well, I'm so glad you had the time you took. I mean, I know how valuable your time is. You just jumped from one show to another, but I appreciate your time. I appreciate your words of wisdom for all the viewers, all my patients, and of course, we'll ask you to replicate this show on your social media, so we can benefit as many people as possible and help them during these really tough times. I think the new normal is here to stay, at least for a while, and we got to take better care of ourselves and look towards the future, to a brighter future in the next couple of years, hopefully sooner.
Absolutely. Anytime for you, my friend. And send my love to Cynthia and Alexa. And I look forward to doing anything with you. I know that people may not know, but Ariel and I actually filmed a pilot for a show. Great concept, food anatomy. We should show that. Let's show that to the people, because, it's so much fun traveling with you, to Baja and discovering foods and trying to the same educating and creating awareness the importance of nutrition in our lives for our body and the beauty.
Exactly. I'll be sure to put the links after the video, and obviously your links as well, so people can view. And again, I want to just thank you for taking time out of your busy day for this small interview, and definitely we'll want to interview you again in the near future, see how things are going on your end.
Sounds good. And to everyone out there, stay safe, stay healthy, and stay beautiful.
And stay
Bye.
home.
Thank you.
All right.
Stay home
Thank you,
for
Tess.
now. Bye.